canvas. I'm going to tape that down because I tend to wiggle things a lot. So I'm just going to go ahead and tape that down. 5 by 7, but we're going to do it horizontal. Okay. Yay, Deanna. I'm so glad. So we're going to start by just painting this canvas. And I think she is Julie, but I'm going to go over anyway. My brother-in-law's been there. My daughter's there now, I believe. And hopefully everything's fine. So we are going to paint our canvas. And I'm going to paint it black first because we are going to use gold metallic. And I don't want to have to use 5 coats of this gold because it's not very opaque. Doesn't have a lot of opacity. And there is a good chance that we would have to do multiple coats with that. So we are going to use black first. So I think what we're going to do is paint it black. Then I've got some of the green and purple. Oh, we're going to do the gold. And then we got green and purple. I think I'm going to do a little stripy green and purple on my edges. We're going to use our beads. I spray painted the back of my Oyster gold. We're going to embed our little oyster into our beads with a little bit of glass. We're going to do a little fun thing to the center, add some more beads in the middle. No, Devin. Oh my gosh. What in the world? We are getting all too old for this business now. Got to be more careful. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. These are the shells we're going to use. And I actually did a geode with a friend on a Murphy bed door. I'll have to post that someday, Rennie. I haven't done a small one yet. I'm really bad about repeat things unless it's like Christmas trees or pumpkins. Thank you, Elaine. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Otherwise, we're never going to get this done. All right, so thank you, Barbie. I'm going to go ahead and get some black on my canvas. And we're going to get the front of this painted black. My goodness. And that'll help our gold pop, okay? So anytime you're using a metallic, to keep from having, because most of those are not as opaque as you'd like them to be. They're pretty translucent. So if you want to give yourself a nice base, you could either start with black, and that gives you a nice base for metallics, or you could start with a color that is similar to your metallic color. For instance, if you're using gold, you could start with a nice warm yellow. If you're using a green metallic, just start with a green paint color. So just use something similar, or you can always use black, and sometimes even red. Red is good under gold. So we're gonna get that black on there. And I think we're gonna go ahead and do the edges too, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the top done, and then we're gonna hit it with our dryer, our little heat gun for a minute, and get that top dry. That way I don't have paint all over my entire body, because I have on nice pants. I don't know why. I don't know why I got on good jeans that actually fit me and don't look like a whole family moved out of my pants. So we're gonna go ahead and get this dry, and we'll paint the sides, and we'll just keep going. This is gonna be super fun. So I hope that if y'all visit Hobby Lobby or Michael's, that you are able to find some Mardi Gras beads, because they did not have any at my Hobby Lobby. Poor Devin. Girl. My goodness. Thanks for the sprinkles, guys. I try not to put it on high so that I don't burn up my paint. All right, I think that's good. Let's work on our sides. Dollar Tree. I didn't even think about Dollar Tree. Oh. Becky, what I said, Steve told me one day I was wearing a pair of shorts that were like bigger, that were like last year's shorts, because I have lost 40 pounds. And he said it looked like a whole family moved out of my pants. So I guess he was saying that my pants were way too big. But anywho, somebody just sent stars. Thank you, Rosemarie. Thank you so much. That is weird, Sandy. I don't know why that happens. Facebook is cray-cray. Y'all know it. The American people know it. Everybody knows it. Isn't that what you say, Steve? You know it. I know it. The American people know it. All right, we're going to get 2 sides. And then we'll hit it again. Diet and exercise. I cut my portions down because I can eat now. Y'all, I can eat. But I'm also a sugar addict. So I cut out sugar, exercise. I didn't cut out exercise. I cut out sugar and carbs for the most part. I still eat good carbs. I don't eat bad carbs. And sugar, carbs, and exercise. And I do not run on the treadmill. What I do is weights and like the weight machines, and I do bike at the gym. So this is just typical me. I'm a seesaw weight girl. I don't know about y'all, but I have been, I've never really, I'm not going to say I've been fat. I've been heavy and skinny and heavy and skinny and heavy and skinny my whole life. Started out pretty skinny. And I think when I graduated high school, I weighed about 90 pounds, soaking wet. But after babies, you know how it gets. And when you start getting older, it starts getting harder and harder to be the size you want to be. But my weight has fluctuated my whole life. From the time I was probably 30 to now, I'll go from 125 to 180, up, down, up, down, up, down, like a roller coaster. We're not doing it anymore. I say that every time, and then, you know. But if I can make it through the winter and not put that weight back on, I'll be doing good. Because that's usually when the weight starts coming back. Is that the same for y'all? All right, I'm gonna draw these edges. Yes, Lisa, I haven't even gotten on the scale since Christmas. I have no plan to do that because I don't want to make myself sad before I go on vacation. So, and I know that I'm going to eat probably more and than I should, and things that I shouldn't while we're on vacation. So I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. I'm going to just make the commitment to try to do good. And whatever happens, happens. When I get back, we are going to, oh, hey, Sandy. When I get back, we will tackle what needs to be tackled. So let's get these edges dry so we can get the fun part started. Because there is fun to be had. Almost done. Hey, Yvonne, welcome, honey. We are glad you're here. We're about to make some fun Mardi Gras art. We're starting with the black because we're gonna paint metallics, and black is a really good base for metallics, especially gold. So I've painted my whole canvas in the black, so now I'm gonna use this gold. It is Folk Art. Hobby Lobby, comes from Hobby Lobby. Hey, Celeste, all you first timers. Yay, so glad you're here. This is pure gold. We will be in Jamaica for 7 days, Becky. So I will be missing. I won't be here next Wednesday, but come see me the one after that. Coffee is delicious if you like it strong. Awesome. Okay, so pure gold is my gold color, and didn't mean to use that. I want to use my sponge brush, okay? Sponge brush for metallics leaves a much smoother finish. All right, so let's get this pure gold color, and we're gonna just get it on. I can see I'm gonna need more than one coat, but that's all right. At least it won't be 20. I should have just squirted it on the canvas. I'm trying to just keep it on the front. And I'm not worrying about my method of application right now with the metallic, because we will we'll correct that. I'm just gonna squirt this on my cam. Nah, I'm not. Oh goodness, there it comes. The corners were still wet. All right, so let's go this way. We're gonna just do the top, and then we'll hit that with the dryer and do another coat, because it is still a little translucent. So when you're doing metallics, if you're new here and if you're not familiar with working with metallic paints, if you've ever painted with metallics and you put the paint on and it always looks like blotchy and splotchy, here's a tip for you. You want to get your paint on your canvas, okay? And then you're gonna take your brush and you're gonna go in one direction over your entire canvas. That lays out all those particles in the paint that create metallic. It lays them all out in one direction so that you don't end up with a splotchy metallic finish, okay? So let's get it dry. We're gonna do a second coat. Yeah, Becky, it's not bad. We're gonna do a second coat, and if it still shows a little black through, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, because we're gonna put our Mardi Gras beads on top of, y'all don't be dissing my team now. Y'all don't be on here talking about my team. All right, we'll get that dry. Hey, Edie. Thank you, Sandy. We're just gonna get a little bit more gold on. We're not gonna oversaturate. And what in the world? Huh. And let's get it on. I know the code.
That don't work.
No, then I don't. Give it to Steve.
I need it back in the morning.
Okay. My daughter just showed up and wants to talk to me during my live.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So we're going to get this second coat on.
She's hurt.
She probably should go to the emergency room.
She doesn't have a bruise. She's not going to go. She doesn't have a bruise.
So we're going to lay this out again. Once we get it all covered, we're going to go left to right. My iPad is falling, y'all. Hang on. My iPad does not want to stay on my tripod. Hang on, y'all. We're about to have a crash. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, so once we get that gold on, even that second coat, you're gonna go left to right and lay it down again. So you have a nice, even coat. All right, so we gotta add some purple and some green to this now, don't we? So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna grab this other brush, and I have metallic green and metallic purple. The metallic green is called Festive Green. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that on my plate. And my purple is also metallic. No, I'm good. She's fine. And this is amethyst, okay? I get it, and I appreciate that, Donna. I appreciate that, but as soon as we're done, I'm gonna go. So now what I'm gonna do, while this is starting to set up to dry, I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna do this messy. I'm not trying to be perfect or even or, you know, nothing I do is perfect. I don't worry too much about that kind of stuff because it's art and it's supposed to be fun, right? So we don't stress out about stuff. So I'm gonna start with my purple and I'm just gonna load my purple onto my brush. I know you can't see that. And I am going to make a stripe down the side. All right? Nice purple stripe. Now I'm gonna get my other brush. That way I can go back and forth. Let me get the black off of there. Hang on. And I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna go into my green, and we're gonna leave a black stripe, and we're gonna make a green one. Okay, so just make a green, and then we'll go back to our purple, and we're just gonna do this all the way around. Purple, green, purple. We'll just keep going. We'll start with the green this time. Green. Can y'all see that, what I'm doing? Purple. I put the brush in my mouth. Green. I'm gonna do see how I did that? I did half stripe. And we'll come back with green. And I'm just going back and forth with my colors. You could do it however you wanted. There is no rule. No rules. You do you, boo. Purple. We'll come down to the bottom. To our green. Why is that heat coming on? I'm about to die. I am. Purple. Green. And last but not least is our purple again. Woohoo. Okay, so look how we did that. It's just purple green, and you see I didn't even, where it was skippy, I just left it. It just gives it a little extra something, right? It just makes it not perfect, and I like that in an art piece. Now I'm gonna grab my heat gun, and I'm gonna get this. I'm just gonna hit it for a minute and get it a little dry so I don't put my hands in it and mess it up. I'm not gonna get it completely dry. Just enough there I don't smear it. Yay, Teresa! There you go. And we have several Mardi Gras things in our repertoire. I think last year I can't remember what I did last year. I always try to do at least one Mardi Gras piece. All right, so that is dry enough. So I think what I'm gonna do, y'all, I'm gonna do this. I love the addition of the green and purple on the sides. So I think I'm gonna take it up a notch, and I'm gonna get some of this purple. Let me put this in my cup. I'm gonna get some of this purple on my brush, just flat, okay? Just on one side. I'm not going in, like dipping my bristles in. I want it on the side of my brush, just like that, on both sides. But I don't also want it gunky, okay? So it's kind of thin and on the sides. Oh, you're right, Wendy, it was. And I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna put a little bit of this purple along the edge of that gold to kind of frame. Let me get a little bit more. So don't do it this way or you're gonna make a line. To just get that little bit of a corner, you wanna just lay your brush kind of flat and pull it across like this. That will allow you to kind of edge it. So see what I did there? I just kind of got a little bit of a purple edge all the way around my canvas. So it kind of helped frame it out a little. All right, so let's put this paint away because we're gonna do one more thing with our paint. And I'm trying to get my act together. I'm kind of in a frazzle. I want to we're going to use 2 oyster shells. This one is going to be face up. I did spray paint the back gold just because it was a little dirty. Even though I've cleaned these, it had some crusty, probably just some breakage from the back. So I wanted a little gold on there to help seal it so it just doesn't leave bits everywhere. But we're also going to use this one because it has purple. It's kind of purpley. So we're going to do both of those. But on the inside of this shell, I want to give it a little pizzazz. Okay? So what I've done is brought to the table this enchanted, Deco Art Enchanted. It is an iridescent gold. So it kind of goes on sheer and light gold, but it will glimmer and have purple and other iridescent colors in it as well. So it kind of flashes. Does that make sense? So let's get a little bit of this on our plate. So it's going to flash gold. And let's just really quickly just put a little bit of this to give it some glimmer on the inside of your oyster shell. And you know what? If you don't have oyster shells, you could still do this project and just put your beads on and, you know, arrange them really nicely and just put some fun Mardi Gras style pieces. One of those little babies that goes in a king cake. I did look for that too, and I could not find that because I thought, how cute would it be to have one of those little king cake babies right in the middle of this oyster shell? Nope, apparently Hobby Lobby thinks we don't do Mardi Gras. All right, so I don't know if you can see how that flashes. It's kind of minimal, I guess, but it does flash gold now. It has a little bit of that gold sheen to it without taking away from the actual shell. All right, so while that dries, let's talk about, we got one more thing to do to the oyster shell. I'm gonna actually let that dry first though. So now, here we're gonna add our, yes, purple sea urchins would be so cute. Anything like that. Like I said earlier, they did not have any Mardi Gras beads at Hobby Lobby. And yes, there are oysters in Mardi Gras. Well, not in Mardi Gras, but in New Orleans or on the coast, yes. So I ended up having to get New Year's beads, and they did not have gold in them. So I got a few, like just strings of gold beads to use, and I think we're going to put these in. I did look in that area as well, Donna, and they did not have anything like this. So I'm going to cut these so that I can kind of arrange them the way I want them. So each of my strings, I think I have 2 purple. And I'm just going to cut them in halfsies. 2 purple. Whoop. Settle down. And a green. And I'm just going to cut them so that I can manage them and put them where I want without having to fight the string. All right, so we'll do that. Cut. And I'm going to add just the iridescent gold, Susan, was, that's not it. It was Deco Art Enchanted Gold. Enchanted. All right, so trying to decide what I need to do next. I feel like I'm going in 100 different directions. Okay, so I do want to add a little bit of gold around the rim of my oyster shell just to make it really pop on that edge. So I don't think that my gold paint that we used on the canvas is going to give it the pop that I want. So I did bring some of this Rub and Buff. Do you guys use Rub and Buff? If you use Rub and Buff, give me some hearts. I need to see who my Rub and Buff people are. Yes. Show me some hearts. This stuff I love. I have it in every color. Thank you, Bunny. I have this in every color possible. And this is an oil-based wax that is tinted to metallic colors. All right. And it's called Rub and Buff, and the color is Gold Leaf, and it is a wax metallic. Now, all you got to do is you can use your finger. I would suggest I use my hands all the time. I don't worry too much about gloves unless I'm using resin. Look at all my rub and buffers. But if you don't like stuff on your hands, put a glove on when you do this. But what I like to do is just squeeze a little out onto my finger because I feel like I have more control that way. And you can take a little piece of cardboard or something and just kind of rub so you can see what you got. And then you can just rub it right on to the edge of that shell. So I'm going to get a little bit more on my finger. And I'm just going to go all the way around. And I'll show you this close up. I'm going to go all the way around. See what it's doing? It's giving my shell a little gold edge. And you could do as much of this as you like. Whatever makes you happy. All right, now let's get that off my finger. All right, so that's what the Rub and Buff does. And it's oil-based and wax-based. So it is there forever. It's so pretty. It looks really nice. All right, so I think now we're ready to make some decisions. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of just some Starfire glass as a base just to kind of build and give my oysters a little place to live. We break up these big pieces, I think. Oh, yeah. A little bit here, a little bit there. And now, let me put the top on my Rub and Buff before it dries up. All right, keep my products all in a row so I know what we use. Now, what I want to do is put some of these beads on. And I know I'm going to kind of place my shell where I want it to be so that I can kind of get an idea. And now I can just take my beads and string them along. I'm actually going to take these back off because I do want them to go underneath and then we'll bury. All right, so just make some loops and we'll do just however many you want. We'll do another green and I think that'll be enough. So that would be a total of 2, like one green and one purple, right? So let's get that, and we can rearrange these as needed when we get our shells on. So basically, you just want to throw some glass down, put your beads down, then we're going to put our oyster shells on, and if we need to move our beads around, we can. All right, so I am going to just lay in, get up there and act right. I'm going to lay in my shell, kind of decide where I want them to live. And this one I love because it's got purple, really pretty, and we're going to lay him in. We'll arrange those better. I'm going to add a little bit of more glass within those beads, just to kind of help them stay where they belong. A little bit here, a little bit there. Thank you, Karen. A little bit here, a little bit there. Because you know I got to put glass on stuff, right? Okay, so what we're going to do for the center is those gold beads that I bought. They're on a string too, but it's kind of stiff. So I can't put them in the pile of beads that I have because they won't stay. You see, they won't curl around. So what I'm going to do is snip off the end And we're gonna add them as we see fit. And we're gonna put a couple inside our Oyster as we resin. So I'm just gonna pull, hey Maureen, thought you was doing Christmas. So I'm just gonna take this one string and I'm gonna just dot in and just drop in some of the gold beads. Whoops, gotta run away. Wherever I want, good heavens. Wherever, just to add some of that gold. You can't have Mardi Gras without gold beads, right? I'm gonna save a couple. And by the way, this strand of gold that I have came from Hobby Lobby as well. They were so cheap. They were $3.99. Metal Gallery is on sale right now, 50% off. So I paid $2 for this double string, all right? Hey, my brain. So now here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get ready to resin because I'm gonna have to take my shells off because I wanna resin all that glass and all those beads. Then we're gonna nestle our shells back in to our art piece, and we may toss in a little gold leaf too, because what is Mardi Gras without some bits of gold leaf? And that's when we'll also put our gold beads into our seashell, into our oyster. All right, so I'm gonna put them there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and lift these off because I think it'll help me kind of figure out what I need. And I'm thinking I'm gonna make an ounce of resin and I'm gonna hold my breath and pray that that is enough. I think it will be. It's a small piece. So actually, I think I'm gonna make an ounce and a half. I'm gonna go on faith here. All right, let's get some gloves on and mix up some resin. Mine are stuck together. Thank you, Catherine. Let me get a little closer too. Hang on. Let me see if we can get closer. Oh, there we go. Now, that's a little better. All right, I'm gonna get my gloves on and we're gonna mix up an ounce and a half. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I haven't made an art piece in like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. And so I'm not feeling confident about my measuring how much I need. So we're gonna do, look y'all, I got my resin and hardener in bottles. And you see, it is very obvious what is what. So I'm gonna make my hardener first. And I'm gonna grab a pen and make my lines so I know what I'm doing. So we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of hardener. And then 3/4 ounce of resin for a total of an ounce and a half. Yes, Lisa, I would not do that. Number one, well, art resin is not toxic, but it can, anything you put on your hands can be absorbed into your skin. And it's super sticky and it's not water soluble. So you can't just, if you get it on your hands, you can't just run to the bathroom and wash it off in the sink. It has to be removed with alcohol-based products. So I always wear gloves and I never wear gloves. And what I mean when I say that is I will paint with oil paint, with plaster, with any products and not use gloves, but I always, always, always use gloves when I am doing resin. So we're gonna do, this is the hardener. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce. And I'm just squeezing it. There we go. Put the cap back on. Love it. Isn't this cute? This one's a little different. This one's one of those upside down bottles. All right. Oh, bunny, that's funny. All right, so now we're gonna do the resin. So we're gonna get 3/4 of an ounce of the resin. Well, that was fast. Look how fast we went. I'm gonna grab a stir stick and we're gonna mix this for 3 minutes. All right, so you're gonna stir. You're gonna scrape the sides of your container of whatever you're mixing in. You're gonna scrape those sides, you're gonna scrape the bottom, and you're gonna do this nice and slow. These are pretty much 2 ounce cups. I either use the 1 ounce or the 2 ounces for most of my lives, cups. And unless I'm doing a bigger art piece. If I could use tops with squirt ends for A and B, I wonder though if pumps. I have tried, I do not like pumps. I do like these squirt bottles, and these are super cheap on Amazon. They're like the mustardy kind of bottles. I bought those on Amazon, and it does have a little top, so it doesn't leak out, and it doesn't, so you see it has that little nip on it. And I love those. I love those. So we're gonna stir for 3 minutes slowly. You don't wanna whip it to death and get all those air bubbles. I mean, anytime you're mixing 2 liquids together, you're gonna get some air in there because you're just, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. But if you do it really fast, like if you whip it, you're really, really getting those air bubbles in. So you wanna just go slow, stir, fold, scrape the sides, scrape the bottom. And we're gonna do this for 3 minutes. Yeah, I've tried the squirt bottles, or not squirt bottles, but the pump stuff, and it's just, I get too impatient. But I go through, Bettina, I go through these are 16 ounce bottles, I think. And I go through them, you know, pretty quickly. So I can go through that in less than a month. So it's fine. I used a, oh gosh, hang on. I can't concentrate. My brain is in 1,000 different directions. Y'all give me a second. I gotta stir. Yvonne, the only auto stir I have seen is only stirs like 1 ounce at a time. And so I'm just okay with stirring it myself. Oh, Cindy. We are running a special right now. Are you on our email list? Because I'm going to tell y'all right now. Don't tell anybody. This is just for y'all. Yes, a funnel. Thank you very much. I will tell you this though. These have huge tops and you could pour right into this container without even a funnel. But for our smaller bottles, when we were doing our kits, we did use a funnel. Thank you. My brain gone completely. So Cindy, are you on our email list? If you are not, you should be, because we are doing a little bit of a January special, new year, new you, and we we have an offer, and it's for a few more days only. It started on January 1st, and it ends on the 7th, where we are open. theshatteredcircle.com. Catherine just posted that. And thank you, Catherine. I see where you said time. Where we are open for enrollment until the 7th of the month. And if you would like to enroll in the Shattered Circle in the next few days before we close it, you will get $10 off your first month. So go to theshatteredcircle.com and click on that. And if you didn't get the email or don't have the email and you're interested, just send us an email at info@artshattered.com and we will give you all the details. How about that? I like the FIFO bottles, Dixie. I like them both. As you can see, I've resin in one in the FIFO and hardener in just a squirt bottle, and they're both nice. I like them both. I don't have a preference really. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna just start, thank you, Susan. I'm just gonna start adding my resin, and I'm just gonna try really hard to go in a line. It's so all over the place that it's gonna be difficult. And my brain is all over the place too, but I'm just gonna start on the right-hand side and start drizzling this resin over my beads and my glass. We wanna get this nice and covered. And I want to make sure it's on the canvas too, not hanging off the edge. We'll get her covered. Then we're going to put once we get it covered and we know everything's stuck down really nice, we're going to we'll take our little oyster shells and we'll kind of bury them where we want them. And we'll add some resin to those as well and then incorporate our gold beads there as well. So I always use, I don't like having to deal with the big bottles when I'm in a live. So what I had been doing was just pouring from my big bottles into smaller bottles so that when I'm doing a live, I'm not trying to juggle a gallon-sized bottle. And so it was just easier to do it that way. But now that we have the squirty bottles, I am totally digging those. So you just do whatever works for you. I'm just super, super cautious about not adding too much resin. Occasionally, I will get a drip down the side. If you flood your canvas, that's when you end up with that resin coming down the sides. And I'm just super good and, just years of experience at not flooding the canvas and getting too much resin. But occasionally it does happen, and I just use an alcohol wipe. One of our members has a company that sells media wipes, and they're really good for alcohol. They're, they are made special for art, and they have alcohol in them, and they're really nice. It's Beert Mac, B-E-I-R-T, B-E-I-R-T, had to think, M-H-A-C. They have a Facebook page. You can buy their wipes. And I use those to wipe my sides off if I get a drip. But if I walk away and it just continues to drip, then I just have a drip, and I don't worry about it really much at all. So yeah, I don't really, I know some people do. Some people are super concerned, but if it drips, it drips. There's just nothing you can do about it. I will wipe it off, and if it just continues, then it is what it is. Ain't nobody got time to babysit. But one thing you can do is if you like resin on the sides, and sometimes I will resin the sides, what you can do, don't flood it, because number one, you're wasting resin if you're flooding. And number two, if you put a lot of resin on the sides, it's going to make those drippies underneath, and you'll need to tape the underside of your canvas so that you don't have those bumps on the bottom. But what I like to do if I choose to do the sides is once I'm done with the entire piece, I will get just a tiny amount of resin on my gloves, tiny, tiny amount, and just kind of rub it along the edge. And I'll do that on this piece so you can see what I do. But a lot of people in my membership also use the Mod Podge, the Super Gloss Mod Podge on the sides. I think that's what it's called. And yay, Angela. Gloss the sides so it is similar to the resin, but without the mess. All right, so I am going to bury this way, but what I do want is a little bit of resin on the back. So I'm just going to take my resin and drizzle some on the back. That way we make sure it's stuck, right? And I am just going to nuzzle that in where I want it. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. I don't need to put it all inside that shell because I'm gonna do it upside down, but I do wanna make sure it's on that edge. So I'm just gonna add a little with my fingers and make sure it's on that edge that I know is going to touch the canvas. So the wipes are called Beard Mac. Maybe Catherine will, there we go. Catherine just posted it. Thank you, Catherine. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little bit on the top side of this too, so you guys can see just how nice and pretty it is. So look, it's kind of purpley. So we'll add that upside down to our piece. And we'll kind of get those nestled like sugar plums. And now I'm just gonna take some of this resin and drizzle it on the inside of my oyster. And then I'm just gonna use my finger and make sure it's nice and covered. What are you giggling about over there? And I still have resin left. You could have used an ounce, okay, for a 5x7. For what we did, I still have, I'm trying to see, I might need a minute. I have debris in here and I don't like it. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna see how much resin I use because I like to tell my girls what we used. I still have, what? I can't see my numbers. 3/4, that was, I still have, where's my cup? I'm being crazy. I don't know what the ounce is. I still have a 1/4 ounce of resin in my cup. So 1 ounce of resin is plenty, okay? Now, so I have a leftover, which makes me crazy, but that's all right. It's okay. So I'm gonna take my gloves off, and no, I'm not, because I want, I'm sorry, y'all. My mind is on my mama. I'm gonna use my heat gun, and I'm gonna pop any bubbles that I may have in my art piece. And no, the resin doesn't run down into the oyster center, because Elizabeth, I barely put any in there. I really just put enough to cover it. And if you really do a thin application, it won't do that. It'll still stick to the sides. And we're also going to add some beads in there anyway, so that'll help cover that up. So I'm gonna do some arranging. I'm gonna take these gloves off now. I think I'm done. No, I'm not. I took one off. I wanted to show y'all how I resin the sides. All right, I'm gonna put this glove back on because I'm crazy. Yeah, I do that a lot too, Bunny. I just don't have the time, or I need to get out of here. And so I don't have the time to worry about it. But here's what I do when I need to do my sides, okay? First thing I'm gonna do is get a block to put this on so that it doesn't stick to my table, all right? So I'm gonna get just the tiniest amount of resin on my fingers, and I'm gonna rub it into my gloves, all right? So now my gloves have all that resin on it. So now I'm gonna pick up my art piece, and I'm just gonna rub very lightly, a little bit. I might need a tiny bit more, a little bit of that resin. Thank you, Rennie. On the sides of my art piece. So it's not like dripping, it's just the thinnest application. We hadn't put it in there yet. Thinnest application of that resin on the sides. All right, I'm gonna take this off. We're gonna add a few more things, and then we're gonna be done. All right, I kept forgetting I was gonna resin the sides, so I'm just kind of going crazy. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of these gold beads that are on this string. I'm just gonna dump them all in my hand. I'm gonna add a few more to the art piece, as well as put some in the middle. Thank you, Leona. So I'm gonna add, you know I like odd numbers, so I'm gonna add 3 to the middle, and the rest of them, I'm just gonna drop them into that wet resin wherever I see fit. All right, there we go. All right, so we have a few little tidbits in the center. And now I have these came from Hobby Lobby. They're over in where you find all the resiny stuff. Like they have all those molds and stuff like that. It's called Foil Flakes. And this is gold leaf, or fake gold leaf flakes. And I'm just gonna take some of this, and sometimes it's big and chunky. See how big and chunky that is? We don't want that big chunk. I want to use tiny bits, and I'm just going to drop them little bits into my piece. We may add some to the center as well. But I just wanted to add just a tidbit of that to my piece. Just seemed like a fun idea. And you can add as little or as much as you want. Don't even have to add it at all. I'm gonna put some right in the middle on my oyster. And I have this bead tool that my good girl Lou gave me. So I'm gonna just kind of shift some of this leaf around using that. So you can kind of micromanage where it goes. And pop it down into your canvas, around your beads, shift it around, bury it in that resin, wherever you want it. I'm gonna pick up another piece or two. Oh, look at that big old thing. So we're just gonna push some of that leaf down in. And one more time, we'll put a little piece right here in with our beads. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna wipe that off so we don't have resin all over it. And I'm gonna try to pick this up and show it to you up close without getting resin all over my hands. Let me cover this up first. Yeah, the foil flakes came from Hobby Lobby. All right, so I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna actually pick it up by the wood. Thank you, Diana. And here is what we end up with. This is so cute. And I love all the Mardi Gras colors. I love the addition of the oyster. It's like the best of the beachy Mardi Gras world. Let me see if, hang on. Let me see if I can turn my camera up. I'm gonna get, here's my wipes, by the way. Beard Mac. And they're really good when you get a little bit of, my bracelets are, some are, and some have a variety. This is really good for getting that little bit of resin off your hands when you pick things up. So let me turn this up right here. Hey, y'all, I'm upside down. Hey, we're back. Okay, I'm gonna try to show this to you without getting resin all over my hands, but it's so cute. Let me turn it down just a little. I know it's just easier sometimes to see it this way. Look at the sides. You can see I do have a little bit of a run there. That's okay. Sides, a little bit of gloss. And then we have our seashell, oyster, a little bit of gold leaf, our Mardi Gras beads, and voila.